before it started, and you could hear everything they said.
Oh, is that another one need signature? He
No,
did sign
that's-
it.
He did? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, four.
then we
I
can
need
give that
four.
all to,
Yep,
give that
I need
all.
four. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'm not throwing it at you
Thank
out of
you. Yes, you
anything
are.
other
I
than,
know how you are.
yeah, that's me.
All right, so I'll move to open the meeting of the Groveland Conservation Commission on June 12th, 2019 at 7:05 PM.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, so we will try to cover our non-hearing, I think we just have 2 hearings. We'll try to cover our non-hearing business here between now and 7:30, and then we'll speed on through the rest of it. So, let's see, so I passed out to you, so this is under old business, Lower Center Street. I passed out an agreement that I was able to put together with the new supervisor of Groveland Highway. About a year ago, we had taken over control of that culvert in the attempt to try to keep it clear without destroying it. And we paid to put a beaver fence around it to stop them from being clogged. There's 2 18-inch culverts over there that flow from the stream from Haverhill into Johnson's Pond. So that effort was not really successful. We did have good control over the level of Johnson's Pond, but we were unable to keep the culverts clear because it's just very difficult. The beaver fence didn't really work well. There's beavers, but it also stopped leaves and sticks and get clogged up plenty of times. And this spring, when we had all the rain about a month ago, the culverts, which happens, they're undersized, and it almost flowed over Center Street. So it's beyond, I think, what we can do by ourselves. So I put this together, this agreement together with the Highway Department. He's going to purchase a device, we're going to pay for half of it, to keep the culverts clear and be able to easily clean them. He's going to check them weekly and clean them when necessary, and he's going to unclog them if they get clogged, all things that we really can't do ourselves. So I'm very happy with this. And meanwhile, we're pursuing money to replace the culverts through Senator Tarr's office. So that may, that's not going to happen overnight. That could be a few years. So in the meantime, we'll have this agreement in place so that when people complain or if there's a problem, we know who's doing what. So the only thing that I want to do is I would like to designate the stream bank on either side of the road as restricted area, because there's quite a bit of erosion there and it's not safe. If you've ever gone over there, the roadway is about 12 feet or so, and it seems that way, maybe it's 15, but it's pretty narrow, and when cars go speeding through there, it's only a matter of time before somebody's going to get killed there. So, so Groveland Conservation is going to put up restricted area signs, so just to notify people just to not hang around there or fish or hang around, because people like to hang around there, sit on the guardrail and, relax for some weird reason. anyone have any questions about this stuff? So I'd like to make a motion to designate the bridge over the culvert at Lower Center Street as a restricted area. It's approximately 25 feet on the roadway. So an area of about 25 by maybe 30 feet with the slopes on either side.
And the highway department's in,
Oh, yeah,
they're on
yeah,
board with this?
they don't have
Okay.
any problem with it.
Okay.
Did those boulders ever get placed?
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you about that.
But that's a different area, isn't it, farther
Well,
down?
no, it's
No, it
further
was-
down, yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody want to second this?
I'll second it.
All right. Any discussion on this motion? No? Okay.
Stop hanging around the culvert.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So the remainder of the area, which is pretty much all the area going down from where the culverts are down to or past where the picnic area is, is about halfway done with boulders. I'm hoping that the people who volunteered to do it are going to complete it this month. So we'll see. Hopefully, the remainder of the boulders will be in. And also, it was agreed that they would fix that parking lot. So it needs to kind of be pushed back. There's a berm in the rear of the parking lot for no particular reason. So it really needs to be cleaned up, and so he promised to do that. So that'll be a good thing.
That's on the other side of the road you're talking
Yes,
about?
yeah.
Or is there still dumping there with tires? Do we still have that issue?
It's not bad, no.
Okay.
No. The dumping issue has really been cut back.
Okay.
And the boulders are helping with parking. And I presume that when all the boulders are in place, there really won't be a parking problem there. And now the boat launch is really established over at VZ Park. It's very usable over there. We just completed the remainder of some plantings over there, so it looks really nice. And so in the future, we can discuss whether we want to not allow boating on the other side or whatever we want to do. But for now, I don't really want to address that. I'd rather have the boulders get in place and kind of let things settle down. But, really, I think we've vastly improved the area over there. I have two more small signs, one that says Johnson's Pond Overlook for that side, and one that says VZ Park Boat Launch for the other side. So once those are in, everything that we got money for last year on that grant will be done. And we're pursuing more money to do some other things. And then I'll briefly talk about the hydro raking. The hydro raking from last year, didn't get anywhere near as much done as I had wanted. It just takes longer than you think to do it. So right now, there's still it's clear all along where the boat launch is on Johnson's Pond by the bottom of VZ Park, so it's very good to put boats in there. And then we have a channel that goes out to the outer part of the pond that's clear. So that's good, but, I don't know. We still have more money to put towards more hydro raking, but it's it's a difficult thing to do, you know, so I'm not sure what we want to do about that.
So when that contract was
Yeah.
put out, was it for an area? Like, I thought we were talking like 3 acres or something?
Oh, it was
Or-
more like 8 acres.
Well, Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But,
They can't guarantee how much they can actually do. They
Okay,
just
I didn't-
charge you by the day.
oh, okay.
So we had
it's private.
contracted for, I think, 30 days of work, and it just was very slow, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah, for some reason, I remember it was like the first batch was, they were gonna, I know it was 8 total, right?
Yeah.
And I thought they were gonna shoot for 3 that was close
Yeah,
to the.
that could be.
And so they
Wait,
didn't.
but I can't really say how much they took out, you know, whether it's an acre or
Yeah.
2 acres, but it's less than what I had wanted. But, you know,
Yeah, no, I mean.
Weren't they also talking about raising the water level? as
yes,
a
we
way of-
did raise the water
Did
level.
has that had any
It
impact on
has some impact, but not as much impact as you think. So right now, the water is just about at its highest level.
Okay.
So we'll see if we can keep it this way
Yep.
for the remainder of the summer into the fall and see what effect that has. But according to the study that we had done on Johnson's Pond and the creek, they said that raising the water level is fine to do, but they didn't think it's gonna have a huge impact on the water lily growth, unfortunately. So we'll see. But I'm just happy that if you go down to the boat launch and you sit there, people are coming with boats all the time there. You know,
Good.
it's regularly being used,
Excellent.
which it never was being used before. So that's a good thing. All right. Does anyone else have any old business? Do we have minutes to approve? Okay. Want to take a quick look at
I
them?
read them.
Oh, you did? You're okay with
Yeah.
them?
I had one comment, she had PM instead of AM.
Where,
I sent you an email.
oh, okay.
Do you see it?
I was not there.
Oh. Right there. So on Thursday, April 18th, 2019, at 11 PM, it should have been 11 AM, right?
Just mark it on there.
Yep. That was the only comments I had as far as when I read them. That was with regard to the pre-construction meeting that we
Yeah.
had with Larry Kelly and.
Yeah. Didn't we have that at 11 o'clock at night?
I don't recall, because I was probably asleep then. I don't think we've ever been here at 11 o'clock.
Well,
10
I don't
o'clock
know.
once.
Yeah, 10 o'clock
Yeah.
once, but I didn't think that was the latest that we've ever been here.
Didn't I resign after that? I'm just,
I think you were planning to when it got to be so late, that's it.
Did I miss anything at this meeting?
I don't remember. That was like 2 months
Two
ago.
months
I know.
ago.
Really.
I was in the land with no water.
Yeah. We thought you might
That was
call
another-
in from
I
remote.
could've, you could've, my phone was working.
So there's no other changes?
Not that I saw, no.
All right, so do I hear a motion on the minutes of April 10th?
Make a motion to accept the minutes for April 10th with the minor correction for the timing allotment.
Yes.
Second.
Second, moved and seconded. Any discussion on this? No? All in favor?
Aye.
And you're one
Abstaining.
abstaining, yes. All right. So I'll sign this last sheet, Julie. It's just the front sheet that needs to be replaced. So, under open discussion, I'll just mention that, at the annual town meeting, we were successful with all three of our all three of our projects. The warrant articles for all three of them passed. One was, money towards purchasing a piece of land. Second one was VZ Park handicap access work. And the third was a 3-year trail grant working with the Bagnell School 4th grade teachers and their students. So I was very happy about that those three passed. So I've been working on the trail grant to try to get that geared up to go, because they want to, actually, they've been working, we've done some work with them this past school year, but now they're really going to gear up to be working on the next school year. And we're going to hire a trails consultant. And so here's what I was proposing to them. I want to see what you think. We have 4 or 5 parcels on Balch Ave, where those, I think we now have 5 parcels there with those 2 gifts, which adds up to about, Rosemary and I were out there, when was that, like in March, Rosemary?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, and remember, we were surprised how nice the place was.
Yeah, there wasn't trash or
Yeah.
anything, it was, we could walk out there, but the water was very high.
Yeah,
Jumping
but
over.
there seemed to be the ability to have a
There were
trail.
some places that was pretty, didn't have a lot of ground cover on them, you know, there's a lot of leaves.
The scrub brush?
Yeah, mostly, yeah, but there was a lot of leaves, there were some open spots, but yeah, and then once we got down to the banking, there was a lot of water there. There's a little stream running through.
So that's, could be their project for next year, is to take this raw area and design something with it and maybe build it.
How's the path over by the Center Street that goes through the wetlands there, that goes over to the rail trail? Because there is a trail there, it's just not very developed. But I remember when we were talking with the horse farm, they were talking about the trail that's through our jurisdiction, that it wasn't very well developed. I'm just wondering if that would be a area that we may want to focus on, because there's already traffic over there. I'm not saying this isn't a good idea, I'm just looking at that as a possible area, because that's definitely our jurisdiction back there.
It is, but
But
that
it's
was
not-
actually tied up with the Boston and Maine Rail Trail.
Yeah, it's not our property.
Okay. Okay.
It's owned by the utility.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, no, I'm not saying the rail trail. I'm saying the wetlands are
The
behind.
connection to it.
Yeah,
And when it connects actually to it,
yeah,
I've been in and through there.
okay.
Something you can do, but unfortunately, no access,
Hmm.
full parking,
Okay.
and it's a very busy intersection.
You would know far
The
better than
roads-
me. I was
Yeah.
just looking at it as a project, because they had mentioned it as, you know, something that they are getting the horses over to the rail trail. It's like I'm trying to branch out to connect to that, if we can do that, if it's through our jurisdiction. But if it's not good, then it's not.
And they're pretty well established, what's there from all the, must have been,
Yeah, just the horses used to beat it down for a while.
Yeah.
Now that most of the stuff over there, it's all pretty much dirt and light gravel.
Okay.
A lot of it's been washed away in that area.
Yeah.
Almost all the way back to, where is it, Whitehall Village? Something-
Whitestone.
Whitestone.
Yeah, everything behind that, I mean, is almost a total washout.
yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know for sure that that will be the place, because next week, they're gonna look into it more and look at it and see, is this too much of a challenge? But typically, in the past, they've worked with Town Forest, Meadow Pond, VZ, and Center Street Greenway, all of which have existing trails. And what they did was they enhance the trails. This is a site that's completely untrailed, there's nothing there, and so it'd be kind of interesting
Yeah,
to
see what
start
they-
from scratch.
See what they come up with.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
We made the loop trail from scratch over in the Pines.
yeah,
Built that up, and now the dog walkers are on it every day.
yeah,
That's great.
So we're gonna use, and then the fourth graders came in and they actually decorated, they used these small
yeah,
half-cut logs.
yeah,
And they put different drawings and sayings and everything all through the forest.
yeah,
It was really nice. And obviously, and entice the people that were over at the dog park, because like I said, they're over there religiously now.
Great, that's the idea, to use it.
It's nice, down at the end though, Marston Landing,
yes,
we've had a major problem down there. The bench is still functional,
Yeah.
but 2 trees dropped down across
Oh,
the trail.
really?
I was down there a couple days ago checking the water flow,
Yeah,
as they mentioned in Billis Way, how it's dry sometimes. It was still flowing pretty good. Just 2 days ago, actually, Monday, I was out there. And there was still probably a good, at low tide, a good 4.5, 5-foot section where the water was just streaming through.
mm. Yeah, that's all water department land,
Yeah, I know they were mentioning at one point when they were setting up the houses over there, that they said that it was pretty dry, and I'm like, no, it's not in the 25 years I've lived in town, anyway.
all right. Anybody else have anything to discuss?
Do you wanna, we have a couple minutes for the
So you
agent.
want me to keep it short?
Yes, we
Um,
do.
Of
Well,
course you do.
you can-
That was a
No,
silly
no,
question.
I mean-
You can start, and then you can
Alright.
continue if we have more stuff.
Well, the most of probably what you're interested in is 180 rear Center Street. I was there when they put in the temporary crossing for the roads. That was a major undertaking to watch them remove everything and then put in a culvert underneath and then bring in the stone and everything. So and I've been out there several times since. Mike was out there once and they started putting in the trees up by the barn, in the upper paddocks. So they started putting the trees in there. And then I've been going back just to check to make sure that the silt fencing and all of the erosion control is still in place, which it is. The water flow is a little bit restricted because of the hay bales that are there at each end of the crossing, but it's just so that there's not a lot of silts and everything else being carried out into the stream, so. But all in all, it's moving along, really, so it looks like it's in pretty good shape.
I don't think it'll impact the salmon run on that area.
No, I don't think so either, so, and they have big signs up to stop the turtles from coming onto the property,
okay.
so, yeah, big signs, stop all turtles, right here, don't go any farther.
Should we
So,
put
yeah.
in a light?
I don't think they could get over the silt fence
Okay.
anyway, so that would stop them right there, so, but they were just concerned because they don't want them going in, because it's all
Right.
sand, it
Yeah,
drains
it's-
like everything, wow,
Yeah.
so. Oh, and they started putting, excavating for the areas that we're gonna put the wetlands back in, so,
Okay,
the replication areas, so
Yeah.
they started doing that as well.
good.
Yep, I'll continue to go out there and keep an eye on it.
It just seems like they're doing things in the way that they said they were, which is
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Yep.
they have been following everything that they said they were going to as far as I think they might even be a little bit ahead of schedule right now. They already brought in fill and they put the addition on the barn already. I mean, the footings are in, the foundation, but they haven't, but,
Good.
yeah, it's moving right along.
All right,
And
so,
it's 7:30.
yeah, we'll start our hearing. So I'm gonna make a motion to open the hearing portion of the meeting here at 7:30. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay. All right, so our first hearing is Oakland Terrace.
We're opening the meeting for all of them, though.
Yeah, there's only
I just-
two.
I just want to be clear that we're not opening and shutting.
Yeah, no.
Just
Okay.
two.
So the first hearing is for Oakland Terrace, Groveland Notice of Intent, RDA. So, can you explain to us what this is? Why do we have a notice of intent in an RDA?
That's what they filed for. Maybe you can explain it better.
So Bill Holt did the filing For the record, I'm Pat Seacamp Environmental, so I did the wetland delineation way back. You guys remember I think you remember,
Yep.
we walk it. Bill Holt filed the RDA because the project really entails just a small amount of grading for one of the house lots within the buffer zone. So that's the DEP, Mass Wetlands Protection Act file.
RDA.
The notice of intent, however, is filed under the Town of Groveland's wetlands bylaw. So that's why he has two different types of filings.
Okay.
He opted to go with an RDA because he felt that it meets the standards under the state's rules for minimal activity in the very outside edge of the buffer zone.
So it's just two lots. One has a notice of intent on it. Is that it?
Well, he also filed the lot that's in the buffer zone, one lot only, 68G. He filed the RDA for that lot, because it's within the buffer zone. And he wants the DEP to say, we agree that it's such a minimal amount of area outside, not close to the wetlands. We think the project can be approved under an RDA, so that's why he filed it that way. But under Groveland's bylaw, he filed a full notice of intent for the review for you guys.
So they're both on the same lot?
Yes. So,
Okay.
with that.
Okay, I think I understand.
So, do you want the actual cards or the copy?
Yeah, whatever you want. Do you want me to take these instead?
Yeah, Robin asked me to, she didn't make a second copy.
Oh, okay.
So she'd
Then
like
this
to
is,
get-
this is fine. Yep, thank you. Copy. Well, I'm sure Patrick has one, but if you guys wanna take a look at the plan.
I do.
So it's, we're here tonight for a notice of intent. Oh, thank you. So for the record, again, I'm Patrick Seacamp of Seacamp Environmental Consulting. I'm actually pinch hitting for Bill Holt of Holt Design because he couldn't be here tonight. So the project entails, it's Oakland Terrace. It's a two-lot proposed subdivision. We're here to discuss, we're showing you the sort of the comprehensive design here. There are two lots proposed, Lot 68E and Lot 68F on Oakland Terrace. Both those lots in the actual roadway are outside the buffer zone, and so outside the jurisdiction. There is a second lot that actually is proposed on a proposed paper street, Maple Meadow Lane, and the lot is 68G. That lot actually will be serviced from an easement off of Oakland Terrace. So there's no intent to actually build Maple Meadow Lane, but that's where Lot 68G gets its legal frontage. They are in front of the planning board looking for a waiver to be allowed not to build Maple Meadow Lane for Lot 68G. However, Lot 68G has a amount of grading predominantly for the septic system side slope and side slope along the edge of the driveway. Within the outer 100-foot buffer zone, they are completely out of the 75-foot no-build zone. And that's the subject of why they filed a notice of intent for that. Because there's about 2,750 square feet of grading activity within the buffer zone for that lot. Silt fence will be employed. The houses will have infiltration of roof runoff in dry wells. The roadway design has BMPs designed to ameliorate stormwater issues. The only activity within the buffer zone to the bordering vegetated wetland is really, as I suggested, just the septic system, side slopes, and the side slope grading for the driveway turnaround. The driveway for 68G will be off of Oakland Terrace, legal frontage off of Maple Meadow Lane, and they don't intend to disturb that or build that. That's the plan. Obviously, they're in planning, in front of planning, and they have to get approval for that with planning. So we're here tonight to sort of present that to the commission. We don't expect to close the hearing tonight because of the issue outstanding with the planning board, that we have to get their final approval before we would look for the Conservation Commission to give us your final approval. So, pretty simple buffer zone project. I think that's kind of the gist of it, and I certainly will be able to answer questions.
Where is the actual house supposed to be on 68G?
This is it right here. So this is existing Washington Street. There's a house here, here, here. There's this is that vacant strip,
Right.
and a house here. So it's right here. This is this house off of Oakland, the two proposed houses, and this is the 68G. Benjamin Street is down here.
So is this similar to what we were talking about the last time? You weren't here, Bill was, but, or have they pulled that house even further away?
Ooh, I don't know, Mike, because as you said, I wasn't here. I don't know what you guys talked about.
Let me look at it.
It's the exact same thing, I'm sorry.
I know he's got it.
So the house, yeah,
I don't think it's changed, or,
well, I don't know, the last time it seemed like it was maybe that way a little bit more.
did
but
we ask them to
probably-
move it this way?
Yeah, we wanted them
Okay.
to move it back as far as they possibly could.
I mean, this is the only area we're concerned about, is right here.
Yeah, right.
Instead of,
No, they've done a good job of
Yeah.
staying away. I mean, but you know,
And
the
then
last
they-
time,
yeah, they were trying to-
they were gonna deal with it.
yeah, they've drawn this way back and
Yeah.
trying to sell these off to these.
So this is Oakland Terrace.
I don't know if you were here for that.
Okay, that's off of Salem
Proposed.
Street, okay.
Yeah. House here,
This
house
is
here,
Mm-hmm.
and then a driveway off of Oakland Terrace with this house.
Yeah,
But the legal frontage for this house is
yeah.
off of Maple Lane, which they're not asking to build. It's just gonna be a
Yeah. it's-
paper
yeah,
street,
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they said they weren't gonna build them.
yeah. So that's the
I have
plan.
no objection, I mean, this seems like a reasonable.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think,
But we can't approve it until it's.
Right.
no, we just,
That's existing, correct. Oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke, you're correct. Proposed, proposed, proposed.
because we don't know if something's gonna
If
change.
they change something,
Proposal here to change anything.
do something that's.
Right.
I don't believe so. Just what you see, that's what they're proposing to do. And they have
Is
infiltrators for the
everybody here on the same
runoff,
project?
for the roof.
Do you have
They
any?
have a well, proposed well.
Did you see the
Yeah.
plan?
Yes.
No, this one is a little bit different from the one that you saw when you were here the last time. Yes, of course, they have already filed with us, yes. So, but if you wanted to take a look at it, it's a little bit farther away.
We moved the house, in his drawing, the house is this way more to the,
So you might wanna check it out and see.
So it sounds like we've pulled the house back away from the
Correct.
wetland boundary.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's a little bit now farther
So
down.
where is the house on 68?
right where your hand is.
right here. So this is the driveway,
Okay.
It was
this is
closer
the
towards the
house,
red line
this is
before
the
we asked them to
garage,
move
and
it
this
back
is
the last time
the
they were.
driveway. This is the
Okay.
septic system,
Right in here.
right here.
So what's this setback from the property line to their septic tank?
From here, this is the lot line,
Yeah, I know,
to here.
because that's my house.
um,
But they don't have a, well, that'll be the engineer's.
They don't have a dimension, but I think they have a standard under the Board of Health rules that they have to meet for sideline setback.
Okay, so this overage between the buffer zone and
That's erosion
this
control.
property? Okay.
So that's
So
a
that-
silt sock.
Okay,
This is the buffer zone to the 100 feet to the wetland boundary,
yep.
which is down
So
here.
so the septic system is just
Out-
off the buffer
correct.
zone?
It's
I
out-
mean, literally like
Yeah, It meets, but it meets the setback requirement.
Bill, do you want a scale?
It's a 100-foot setback requirement.
Now, the grading that he's proposing would be exactly what?
It's what you see right here. So this is elevation 90, this is 92. He's taking 92 out a little bit. He's bumping it out, and it's tying it back in. This is 96. So he's sort of pushing it out a little bit. Right now it goes straight across, and he's creating a bit of a bulb out. Yeah, but everything is out. Some of the grading, this grade line is just inside the buffer zone.
No, we
Yeah.
love that.
So that's activity in the buffer zone. Obviously, they have
Setting a
to,
precedent if they let that go.
they have to do some clearing for the
We love that.
septic system, so that's why the silt fence is here.
See, I live here, so I guess.
What's the percentage that they wanna take down for clearing of,
Yeah.
I would say it would be within the silt fence area.
right, but what are the, what's the, I'm sorry, I'm not asking that right.
I don't
What
know.
is the percentage of vegetation they wanna take down? There's a, this is all woods back there
Right.
now.
No, I would say it's probably all going down. Yeah. In order to grade, you have to take the trees down.
Take all of them down.
Yeah, in order to change this grading and run a machine through there, they would take the trees down. These trees, however, you know, if there's a tree here, it can
Right.
remain.
So what I'm thinking about is that if they're changing this grade,
so
right,
glad.
they're gonna flatten out that grading, they're taking down all those trees.
I would have been
So
very
there will
upset
be
if
a
it was
lot coming down off here. Here's their house.
Did you
Here's my
ever
house.
talk to them about that
Yeah.
toboggan?
So, and here's your buffer zone of the wetland.
Correct.
So won't there be a lot more water coming down in this direction as well as in this direction? Seems to me if they're grading and making a swoop, it's gonna come right down here, and here's their septic system.
Never heard back.
Yep, that's their system. Their roof runoff is being infiltrated, so all their impervious surface area is being picked up and infiltrated, so that will not be running off the surface.
Well, it
they
depends
have,
how many trees they take down to put the house in, because if they're wiping this out, right? And then they're putting their proposed dwelling in here, they're gonna wipe a lot of foliage out there. So they're just gonna stay clear of here, which is, that's good.
This is all maintained as trees.
This is gonna be wiped out.
This
So
strip is trees?
all of this is trees in here now.
Correct, but see the erosion control? And where do your trees start on your lot?
Right in the back of the lot. So all of this.
You're cleared right to here.
Yeah,
So it's gonna be very similar to your lot. That's what's gonna happen.
right.
So the influence is gonna be
so-
very similar to what your lot currently has.
Except for the fact that it's gonna be coming off a steep grade into a flat area that has no,
Well, it currently goes like this. So when it gets here, it's gonna go like that, just like it does. See the 96, 94, 92, 90. So that's a 6-foot drop from here to here,
okay,
and it's gonna run right down through
Okay.
there, just like
But
it
I'm-
does now.
Especially if you're
Okay.
continuing.
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
They're not gonna push it
So what
toward
I'm-
you.
well, what I'm asking is, so what I thought you just said is that following these curves, right, where it says 98,
Yeah,
96, 94,
Be elevated.
aren't those are higher up. Here's a curve, so then it becomes flat all along here, right?
no, it's sloped.
This is,
This is sloped, so if I were
I
to sit
understand
here,
this is, but
I would be
follow these
walking, I would
lines.
be walking downhill to the bottom of the slope.
Absolutely.
I would be walking downhill to the bottom of the slope.
right?
And then once you got here, it's nothing different. It's exactly like it is now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what I don't know is, you know, he's got these grade lines. I don't know your topo on your lot, other than this
I don't have a septic, I have a.
Yeah,
88.
It's
So
flat.
it
and
looks
then
like
goes
you-
off down towards the falls.
It looks like you also shed in this direction.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
so, very similar. It'll shed very similar to what your lot does. Do you have, the issue here is, he's picking up in a swale, a treatment swale.
Yeah, I
the-
know, I
The
know.
driveway runoff,
And
and he's
these
picking up the
people,
roof runoff. So if you have roof runoff infiltrators, The influence of this house is very similar to your house, if
Okay.
you're infiltrating your downspouts, which
And
really you
this
should be.
driveway right here, this big, long driveway is gonna be maintained by that dwelling?
Yeah. Yep. It's a driveway.
Putting down tar. We did that for a day.
Now we're talking.
That was all I can handle.
Is there anything that you're discussing over there that has any impact on us?
I'm concerned about the amount of foliage that is gonna be, can I, do you mind?
Yeah, that's why you're here. I understand that. I'm not being critical, I'm asking.
No, no,
for
no.
input.
Oh, I don't think it's even
I
on.
think you need
Okay.
it, yeah, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
okay.
should-
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Give us, tell us your name and address.
Kai Colombo.
For the record.
147 Washington Street.
Great.
What we're discussing is the grading change around the dwelling as well, so that is a curved grading change. It becomes flat in back of my property. All of this area along the buffer zone, most of the trees will be taken down. Right inside the overlap, I understand the trees won't be taken down, but their buffer zone goes into that. So the way that the water sheds right now is directly down into this area here behind the Foth's property,
Okay.
which is 149, right? So I'm concerned that it's just gonna make matters, I think my house will be fine, other than visually, I think it's gonna suck. But as far as water, I think that the water is gonna be concentrated down around the Foths. I also think that there's gonna be a problem with this long, long driveway coming up here being maintained by the homeowner. I understand that there's gonna be swales and all that, and that's gonna be great for water pickup during the first year, maybe? But what happens when those swales get packed? And this homeowner has to maintain all of this in order to mitigate flooding. I just see that as problematic. And I understand that the homeowner will have to say, oh yeah, we're gonna do it. I just question that.
I don't know if that's really our jurisdiction to
Well-
yea or nay, but go ahead.
Thank
You know, as built, it cannot, it's gotta be built so that no water is flowing, any excess water is flowing out of that lot onto someone else's property.
No, I meant of the driveway, the last part I saw.
Well, yes, but the concern is that because of the way the slope is here, that the water's gonna be running off and, you know.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
So just to clarify that, the driveway does have a water quality swale that's been constructed all the way down along its length with check dams. Just like any other homeowner, whoever buys this house will have to maintain their property and make sure that the swale and the driveway is functioning. But I mean, it's certainly been designed to the standards of most driveways. And I don't think there's any long-term concern that this can't be built and be maintained and function as a driveway. It's a long driveway, but there are plenty of long driveways
Yeah.
that, you know, can be maintained. So the NOI did include a drainage analysis that sort of goes over the nitty-gritty. They're not subject to the DEP stormwater management standards, but they have provided, you know, extra BMPs to try to mitigate some of the concerns for runoff and drainage. They're infiltrating the roofs in dry wells, and they are infiltrating the driveway runoff through the infiltration bioswales along
How
the
about
driveway.
a permeable driveway?
I don't think they're proposing that right now,
Yeah, but
because I think what they're doing is they're putting it in the swale, the biotreatment swale, so they're both treating it and ameliorating the velocity and the runoff. So,
well, maybe it'd be nice to consider a permeable driveway.
I'll take that back to them.
much is the grading changing towards the back here that she had just talked about, going towards the Colombo property?
Well, the gist of it is they're shortening up the existing grades to be a side slope area around the house, the proposed house and septic, but the grades currently, okay, shed in this direction. So any water precipitation sheds in this direction. That's what the current grades show you. So they're picking up, for instance, this contour 96, they're picking it up here, and instead now 96 goes straight out, and so if I were walking down slope, I'm walking down the fall line. They are adding this little bump out here. So the grades, the shape changes, and the grades get slightly steeper on that slope, because they're pushing it out for around the foundation of the house, the driveway, and the septic system.
So you're basically moving it out and making it 6 foot high is the difference towards the 90 is what you're saying, so it's a 6
It's
foot.
like a 6 foot.
6 foot difference.
Yeah, yep. But there's still a 6 foot rise there. It's just a different shape.
Question.
Yes.
I'm Janet Falcon, I live at 149 Washington Street. That mean the water's gonna come our way? Because out in back of our house is what we used to use as a garden. And when it's really raining, during the spring thaw, there's always a lot of water.
Well, based on, this is your lot here?
149.
And it's, I'm sorry, was it Janet?
Janet.
Janet. So based on the current topo, this currently sheds in this direction. That's not going to change. They're not proposing to change anything outside off of their lot. Once the water leaves their lot, it's going to run down that slope just like it does today.
So
They're-
making it a slope. It's gonna be
The slope change is only on their lot, out just within the buffer zone. They're not changing anything on this portion of the site. And so your house is over here, this is the limit, so if the water were to hit my finger, it would run down to here, and then it would run down just like it does now to the wetland
Because our
boundary.
lot is lower than Columbo's, than Guy's. Our lot is lower, a lot lower than hers.
That's your topo, so yeah, it looks like you're at 86.
Yeah, you're 4 feet even
Your
below
lot.
that. So you're 4 feet even below that, because you're at 86 according to the map here.
So the house would be on the hill above your lot.
Yeah, I was reading from 90.
Yeah, well, then it's around and build,
Yeah.
push the berm so it's 96 across to here. But that would make a different flow.
Well, Patrick, you've heard the concerns. If there's anything else that can be done between now and our next meeting, that would be great.
I'll take it back,
Yeah,
Bill is the
sure.
designer, so I will take the abutters' concerns back and see what he can do.
Yeah.
Ask you to get a nuts and bolts answer from him. How, if he could say how much of the foliage is coming down, because you can talk all day long about slopes and mitigation of water, but what Janet raises is a very legitimate concern. Their land already is wetland.
Part of it,
All us
part of
have
it is.
wetland in that area.
Well,
But I'm not
I want to clarify that.
speaking-
This
okay,
part,
I'm not speaking from an ecological,
Okay,
technical
that part is
standpoint.
wetland,
I'm talking
correct.
about getting your feet wet, wetland, okay? Getting your, up to your thighs wet, wetland.
Hmm,
So I
okay.
could be completely wrong about it being conservational wetland, but practically speaking, it's wetland. When you take down a lot of the foliage, it's only gonna get worse. There's nothing that's gonna be sucking that up. So as you increase that slope and it sheds, I think my land's gonna be fine, other than visually, I'm not gonna like it. I'm really thinking about my neighbor's land is gonna get wetter. And I don't see how that's gonna change unless they are held to a standard where they can only take down 20%, I'm making this up, because I have no idea.
Yeah.
You know, 20% of the trees, or,
Well,
I don't think that's feasible. I think between the design of the septic system, how they're gonna grade it, where the house is going, the slope of the land, I think they're just gonna take everything down.
No, they're not. And so it's an upland forest. It's not a wetland. I've walked it many times. I've walked it in sneakers. I don't get my feet wet on the upland forest. We have wetlands on the site, that's correct, down in this area. Yeah, this is flagged as wetlands. It's an upland forest. Trees are going to come down because you can't build a house and you can't grade for a septic system and you can't put a driveway in without cutting trees. I think you mentioned, you have a lawn right back to the edge of your lot line. So your house has a lawn. That doesn't ameliorate any of the water concerns that your lot has the potential to suck up. This lot will effectively act, when it's cleared and the lawn is in and the grading occurs, it's going to act just like your lot. Except they are infiltrating roof
Except for the fact that
runoff.
my land is much higher.
I'm assuming you probably infiltrate your downspouts, and you have a swale along your driveway. It'll have that same sort of BMP for runoff, and so for the concerns for the neighborhood, they're doing everything they can do to build a single-family house lot and meet the spirit of stormwater management. And so, the tree clearing, if you look at the erosion control, I would suggest that everything within this yellow line is where the trees are going to be cleared. Because
All of them.
that'll be the lawn area. So there will be a strip between your back lot and the new lawn. There'll be a wooded strip before you hit your lawn, at the back of your lot. So you'll have two lawns, but you'll have an area of trees in between. Whether it provides a screening, I don't know. I think those are hardwoods, most likely. If there were hemlocks and pines there, you might get a screening, but honestly, I can't
I'm
remember.
not speaking about a visual screening.
I'm just saying, I don't know what kind of trees those are. There will still be some trees, and there'll certainly be a lot of trees preserved on the remainder portion of Lot 68G. So they're not proposing to go out beyond that and cut the trees. They're just proposing to cut the trees where they have to do the grading for the septic and the road, the house and the driveway. So I think but I will,
Yeah,
I'll
so
ask Bill to
basically
somehow
then there will be
clarify,
0% trees.
the amount of trees. But
left
honestly,
on the lot.
I think, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think you can
Oh, no,
consider
no,
everything within the
I'm
erosion
listening.
control to be the limit of clearing.
Patrick, what are you
Yeah.
going before the planning board?
My understanding was they had already had one meeting with them. I don't know if that was when I talked to Bill when he asked me to cover this hearing, because he said he had a conflict. I thought they were meeting tonight.
No, they meet on Tuesday.
Okay.
They met last
So they
night.
met last night,
Yeah.
and they will be going back before them. So
Okay, I was just gonna suggest to them that, they are meeting again, you should bring your comments up then to the planning board as well.
yeah, it sounds like some of this may be actually
planning
more
board,
akin
right.
to planning, because, as I mentioned, all this activity is actually outside of the Conservation Commission's purview. This is the activity that we have filed for getting an approval from the Conservation Commission for. Everything else is outside the buffer zone. Correct. It's outside the buffer zone.
So it's more of a planning board issue, so you might wanna bring it up too.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
sort of getting at. I'm not saying your concerns
Yeah,
aren't
no, that's why I
legitimate.
want you
I'm
to
just saying,
know.
that, I don't know how much we can do,
Right.
but if they change the pitch of the
A
grading,
very
you
small,
can't
about
bury trees, they die. I mean, I'm just wondering about,
2,750 square
I know that
feet
it looks like there's gonna be
is
from his
within the buffer zone.
map, there's, right, the yellow line's gonna give you about a 40-foot strip
Just
between your land
this
and their land, where there's gonna be
Um,
trees. That's not a
They're
big
asking
strip,
for an
but I'm just
approval
saying
from the
that's what- if
Conservation
they're
Commission for that work
26
right
to 60
here.
inches.
I'm sorry, you probably can't see it. This work,
Right, and that looks like
Here.
an inch.
this work is what they're asking for
I'll
approval.
just pass it along.
go to the,
It's just a grade line, a couple of grades. Proper slope for the septic in the back of the house. So it's this area, right here. The pink line is the buffer zone.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna.
In the buffer zone, right here, yep. They're just clearing
All right,
within the
so-
buffer
Is
zone.
Yes, it was.
Exactly is erosion control.
Want to claim it
So
as a
erosion
plan?
control,
We want to
so you got a
continue
different
this.
couple of types, but
The other one?
the new
Or
type,
do you wanna
which is
keep it?
proposed on this
Oh, all right,
site,
go
is
ahead,
a silt
continue.
sock.
Continue
So
on.
it's a sock that's filled with bark
Go
mulch
for
or
it.
whatever, and they lay it on the
I have no
ground, they
problem with
stake
that.
it. And it snakes through the woods, and basically it keeps any graded, freshly graded soils, erodible soils, from going any further. It traps any soil.
Now, who determines if
They
that's
had it last night and they postponed.
okay?
The Conservation Commission.
Because
Yeah.
So
I
we're
live
not
on Pond
meeting,
Street.
I think it's
About
July
and
16th.
there's currently a construction project going on there. And they have, I'm sorry, I don't know what the term is, they have like a shield,
A black silt fence?
Silt fence.
Silt fence.
And it's, to the top of the silt fence, the eroded dirt from
Yeah.
that one house has already breached the top of that silt
That,
fence.
that might be something to bring up with Rose.
I guess I will be heading out there tomorrow.
It sounds like that's,
So I mean, something that's
So-
only this high
Yeah.
versus
Looks like it.
2 feet or 3 feet, whatever that height
It's-
is not gonna be adequate.
well, it depends on the slope above it, how much grading. So it sounds like on your case, in that site, they cleared, scraped quite a bit of soil. We've gotten some good rainstorms,
Yeah.
and they need to go down and maintain that.
And they also have piles of dirt that they didn't cover over, so that every time it's rained.
Exactly.
They're talking
So,
about pond, so I
as
think
part
that-
of this
that's a-
filing, because it's over an acre of disturbance, they have to do a stormwater pollution prevention plan. The acronym is SWIP, and the SWIP requires either somebody like me or somebody like Bill Holt, a certified erosion control specialist, somebody familiar with that, to walk those erosion control lines after every half-inch storm event and make sure that just what you said isn't going to cause a problem. So there's a requirement under the SWIP, which will be done because they're required to because of the acre, over an acre for the cumulative grading. The erosion control monitor has to walk that after every rainstorm and say, okay, you have a problem here. He talks to the contractor, you better get your machine down there and clean that out, repair it. If there's a breach, they repair it. And so it's supposed to be looked at, yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to continue this to our meeting on July 10th. Is there a second on that? Second, all right. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, unanimous. Okay, so we'll be back on our next meeting, July 10th, and hopefully have some more interesting news from Bill Holt.
Yeah, I hope Bill is able to make that.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for coming. Yeah.
Yeah, good questions, all good input, by the way. It's a good, it's much
All right.
appreciated. It
Second
is.
matter.
54 Bear Hill Road. Not here.
10th, July 10th. It's always the second Wednesday of the month. Yeah, you're welcome.
Plans, smaller plans?
No, I don't. That's the only plans that I have are the regular size.
I just want to compare this one to the one we
You
have
can
along.
give, you can
Give
give
him
him
one.
one.
Sure.
Okay,
You don't,
thank
you don't
Yeah,
mind?
no, I think
Yep.
Or do you want to give him that one?
'Cause I know
Oh,
you-
wait a minute, I do. I did not know they were in there.
Okay.
Yeah, just the.
Is that helpful?
Okay.
Yeah, second.
The other one has more stuff on it, so you might wanna take this one. So this one has all the lots and everything on it too, so that one might be
That's
better.
fine.
Okay, yep, you're welcome.
So,
Trail making.
54 Bear Hill Road, not here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Oh, Patrick's
Patrick.
doing this one too?
Patrick's here for both.
I'm here for this one.
Sorry.
Let's just say adjourn.
Your
You know,
audience left.
I figured
thought-
the reason why Bill sent me here tonight is he wanted to get a better seat for the game tonight than me.
Is he attending?
He's not attending, no. As far as I know, but
He could be.
if
He
he
didn't
is,
tell
he's in,
you that.
if he is, he's on my list. Trust me.
Yeah, right.
Can we deny him on that?
So,
Yeah, right. Sorry. All
Go
right,
ahead.
so this is the hearing for Groveland RDA for 54 Bear Hill Road, starting at 8:05 PM.
All right. For the record, Patrick Seecamp, Seecamp Environmental. So this is a replacement of an existing septic system. It's an existing house on Bear Hill Road, barn, outbuildings. The system is in this area. Bill Holt has done the perk. It is just, there is just a very small amount of grading within the buffer zone to the BVW. My brother Mike flagged the BVW boundary down in the valley here. And because of just that small amount of incurrence, it's only a couple of 100 square feet of activity within the buffer zone. We have filed in RDA to make sure that the commission is aware of. We're within your jurisdiction. We think that this activity, it's a septic repair. We've got erosion control, a good amount of erosion control, and we feel like we can do this without any undue potential harm to the wetlands. So,
So you're just doing a repair, you're not moving it to a different place, you're not changing the type of system, or?
it's a good question.
I'm not sure if it is in the same spot.
It says proposed, so it looks like it's a new, better location, I think, when he was perking it. Because it is,
Oh, yeah, it says
It's-
the existing is SAS right there.
oh,
Right to
okay.
the-
Right
to the
here
left
is the
of it, yep.
existing. Yep. And so these are his perk tests. I suspect he found better material and felt that he can get a better system in that location. Yep. And boy, that looks like a funky shape, so I'm not sure how old the existing system is, but it doesn't look like it was up to the standards of the new system. So. This is the 100-foot buffer zone, and literally, it looks like this grade line just hits the buffer zone and gets tied back in. The erosion control is also within the buffer zone. So, and on this one, he is proposing staked hay bale and silt fence erosion control.
Looks relatively flat, I take it, from the wideness of the,
No, it does slope.
It does, though, this is 4 feet from the 88 to the 92 over a fairly, is this a 20? This looks like a 20.
1 to 20.
It's a 20, so, we have 4 feet over maybe 100 feet, 60 feet maybe. It's relatively flat, yeah, not a real steep area.
Any questions, any other questions on this? Have you seen it?
No, I have not been out there, but do you want me to put in there, when I write up the letter, that they will notify me when they go back to put in the erosion control, and I'll go out there and?
Yes. Yes, because this will just be a letter permit,
Correct. Yeah,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so you can condition
Right.
the RDA decision, you can condition that Rose has to inspect the erosion control
right.
after
Right.
installation.
Right.
We
yeah.
don't have
Before
to
you
have a
start work.
pre-construction meeting, but just,
Yeah.
Just a quick inspection,
notification
yeah.
to
I think
inspect it.
that's appropriate, yeah.
Yep. All right. Somebody want to make a motion on this? Go for it.
So, okay, you have to help me through it.
Go
So,
for it.
So I make a motion to accept the 54 Bear Hill Road GRDA as outlined on the plans, with the condition of notifying the conservation agent of when the erosion controls are installed.
Yep, that's fine.
Great job.
I will second that.
Second by Fred. All right,
Well-
any further discussion on this? This is pretty straightforward. I think that it will be successful as submitted. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay.
Discussion?
No, we already
I
had
know,
that.
just kidding.
Unanimous.
I'm just kidding, I'm kidding.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, thank you.
Enjoy the game.
That's it? Put the game up on that.
That's right.
All right, so I'll make a motion to close our hearings portion of the meeting at 8:12 PM. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, number 3, we don't need to talk about that right now because it's really dependent upon what the DeHulus come back and talk to us about that lot.
Okay. Should we continue with the conservation agent update?
Yes, if she has anything else
No,
to
that
add,
was pretty much it.
that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're gonna go out to Benjamin Street,
I will go
take a
out there
look at that. We had been out there 2 weeks ago, right?
Oh, probably more than that, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when, and there were some problems, so, of course, it's not jurisdictional, so we didn't really have any say over it, but there's a lot of soil just sitting there waiting to flow into the pond. The pond is only probably 300 or 400 feet away.
All right, I have it, yeah. It was 5:23
All right,
we went out there.
yeah,
And
so,
I sent an email to both Dina and Bill Holt.
yeah, and we heard nothing.
Nothing.
So, time to ramp up. Not that, I don't know, basically what we can do, but tell them they better do it. Right? With much force. All right, so our next meeting is Wednesday, July 10th. We've already got, one thing, a continuation on that night. I also want to talk next time about the annual appointments that we make. We probably should have done it tonight, but I didn't remember to put it on the agenda.
I'm gone at the end of the month.
You're going to be gone?
Well, I'm due.
Oh, you're going to re-up?
How do I go about it?
Oh, just,
It's been 3 years. Yeah, you said something, I emailed, what's her face?
Yeah,
Denise?
Thinking of the name.
it wasn't from Denise, it was from
No,
somebody
it's
oh,
else.
somebody else.
Caitlin?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Did you send it, say you wanted to?
yes.
Oh, okay, then you should be all set.
All right. I guess I'll hang around a little longer.
Yeah. And
Make-
Also-
Make quorum.
also talk about the VZ budget, a couple of things VZ related. So we have enough stuff to talk about at our meeting. I don't think it would be a long meeting for July, and maybe if we're really lucky, we won't have a August meeting.
I'm gonna say, when is the August meeting?
It would be, let's see,
Third Wednesday.
August,
That's-
August,
Second one, whatever. it's my
August
calendar, I don't-
14.
14? Okay.
The 14th of
I get
August.
it then.
But we'll try not to have that meeting.
I'll be available for July also, because I'm not going out to the Berkshires in July.
Oh, okay.
But I will be there in the first week of August, that's why I was wondering.
Cool.
All right. Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Go for it.
All right. I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting here on June, was it 12th?
Yeah.
Yep, at
8:16, yep.
8:16.
Second?
I'll second. Or did
Oh.
you second?
No, I don't care. You
I don't
second.
either. So,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Go Bruins.
John?
John?
sure. I don't think anyone's gonna hold me to that either way.
Okay.
All you Bruins fans, go enjoy your game.
Yes.
Well, we're Bruins